Hello and welcome back. So in this video, I am going to be reviewing two of the Jaclyn Hill Morphe Vault palettes. I bought two of these at Ulta the day of the launch, and I have been experimenting with them all week, so I just wanted to give you my thoughts. So the two palettes that I got were the Ring the Alarm palette, which is the red-ish one, and then the other one that I got is the Armed and Gorgeous, and that's kind of the yellowy gold one. So you've been hearing a lot about these. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I just mostly want to give you my thoughts specifically on the formula. These are $15 each. You can get them at Ulta and on the Morphe website, and you can get the whole vault for $49, although I think that may be sold out. But I bought these the day of the launch at Ulta, and they had it in store, which was nice. And you can use the $3.50 off $15 coupon, which is for drugstore items. They consider this a drugstore brand at Ulta, so that's pretty awesome. And I actually did have an Ulta gift card for I think $9 or $10. I would not have bought these if I didn't have that, or at least I wouldn't have bought both of them. I probably would have just bought one. Okay, so this one is the Ring the Alarm, and I'm not going to go through each color because there's been a million videos on these already, but I will insert swatches. And then I will also insert swatches of the Armed and Gorgeous. So first I just want to talk about the color selection a little bit. That's something that did kind of bother me, only because if you look at the two palettes, there are pretty much 4 different gold shades, which just seems like too many gold shades. I love warm eyeshadows, which is why I bought these. I love the reds and the golds, but I think 4 golds within 2 palettes is a bit much. And then also, I feel like once you put them on the eye, a lot of these do look similar. Like these two, these 3, well, that one's a little different, but these two, when you put them on the eye, they're not that different. And then same with this palette. These 2 colors here and here, when you put them on the eye, they're not that different. Okay, so next up, the formula. That's the most important part because that was a whole uproar in this. So I think that this formula is a little bit dry, but I think it works really, really well. The matte eyeshadows, in the swatches, they don't look that good, but they perform so well on the eye. They blend really, really easily. The shimmers are also dry, and some of them you do kind of need to build up with 2 layers, but they work, but they just feel dry when you're putting them on the brush. There's one shade though that you have to use wet because I tried using it dry and it literally did not show up at all. So let me show you that one. Yeah, so that one is classified right here. It's a really pretty shade, but when I put it on my eye dry, I couldn't see anything. It was just like a few shimmers. But when I sprayed my brush, it was gorgeous, metallic. I loved it. And then there's one shade that people were really complaining a lot about in I think the first release of this, and that's the green Top Secret. And it doesn't swatch well, but on the eye, it blended really easily. I really liked using it, so I had no problem with that. The only problem with that though is that because it's a green, you have to make sure you're not layering it with any of these warm shades like the oranges, because it will turn brown. So when I used it in the outer corner, and I basically didn't blend it out with any other eyeshadows. You could blend it with a gray and it wouldn't turn brown. But yeah, if you get it in the oranges, it's gonna turn brown. So that would defeat the purpose of wearing a green eyeshadow. So today I am wearing Coin right here. That's that shade, and that's one of the most metallic in this. I mean, I put on 2 layers today, but I really did not need to. It's super pigmented. I really like that one. And then I am wearing, I think I blended out the crease with a combination of Secure and Agent, which in my opinion are basically the same color. And then what else did I do? Oh yeah, I used Boom, this one here, in this kind of outer area. And I put a little bit of, where was it? I'm just going back and forth between these palettes. I put a little bit of VIP in the inner corner. I'm not a huge inner corner highlight person. This is a really frosty white, so you could use it as a lid shade, but I haven't done that yet. And the last thing I want to talk about is just comparing the formula to the original Jaclyn Hill palette. So she said in her video that this is the same formula, if not more creamy. And that's the part where I disagree. I really like these two Vault palettes and I think they're great price, $15 each, and they're really good eyeshadows. But they're not the same formula as this palette. Mine is obviously depotted, but these shadows are much creamier. I mean, you can tell where I have like a dip. I don't know, they're just creamier. And I wouldn't say though that they perform better. I don't think that they do. I think these palettes perform equally well, but the formula is different. This is a much creamier, softer formula. When I put my brush in the matte shades, I get a little bit of kind of kick up. With these though, I don't, because it's pretty dry. I think the mattes in the Vault palettes are very, very similar to Juvia's Place. If you have Juvia's Place palettes and you know that matte formula, it's fairly dry, but it works really well and blends easily, it's very similar to this. And the shimmers also are drier in the Vault palettes. The Juvia's Place matte or shimmers are not really dry, and these aren't either. These are much creamier, but I only say that because I don't think they're the same, but I think that they perform just as well. Overall, I think the formula is really good in the Vault palettes. There was only one shade that I actually even needed to spray my brush with. The mattes blend really easily. The shimmers are quite metallic. I'm really enjoying using these palettes. My only complaint would be that a few of the shades pretty much dupe themselves within the palettes, which I think is a little bit silly. You know, when you're only putting 10 eyeshadows in a palette, I feel like you could expand the range just a little bit. But I do really like the color stories. I like this kind of yellowy gold with the green in it, and I really like the reddish dark one, the Ring the Alarm, quite a bit. And as far as similarities to the original one, I think, I don't know if you can tell, but the original Jaclyn Hill palette, in my opinion, the colors are more subdued, they're more neutral, where these, even though they are warm neutrals, I mean, these are just, they're more intense colors. The mattes are richer, they're darker. This has a lot more mid-tone shades. The shimmers are brighter. So I actually like that better. I like the color selection in the Vault more because they're more intense colors. Also, I will say that the packaging is much better. It's that kind of shiny packaging, although I do think that the Jaclyn Hill original palette, the second time they released it and when it was at Ulta, they did change it to this packaging, but mine was in the original and it was just this thin cardboard that basically fell apart. So this is much higher quality, it's really shiny, so you'll be able to wipe it off very easily. And the shade names are on here, which is also an improvement. Not that I care too much about shades, but if you're like watching a tutorial or something and someone is using an eyeshadow, I get kind of frustrated if I don't know which one it is. And the mirror, as you can see, it's a pretty good mirror. I don't usually use the mirrors in palettes, but it is nice to have. I think it makes sense to have one in a smaller palette like this because I never travel with larger palettes if I am going anywhere, which doesn't happen all that often. I definitely would bring a much smaller palette, so you could bring these. Alrighty, final thoughts. I really like these two Jaclyn Hill Vault palettes. I think the formula is really nice. Although it is a dry formula, it performs very well. It's not as creamy as the original palette, so I think saying that is a little bit misleading. but that's okay. I do think that the eyeshadows are good. Whether they improved the formula or changed it, I don't know. I didn't try it initially, but I think for $15, I think this is a really good palette. Um, I wouldn't have bought the Vault though. I think $49. I mean, buying 4 palettes is one at once is a lot when you already have a lot like I do, so I definitely didn't need all 4 of them. $49 is kind of a lot. If you don't have the original Jaclyn Hill palette and you're debating getting these or the original one, I think it depends on what you like. If you like more natural, mid-tone, and lighter shades, then I would get the original Jaclyn Hill palette. If you like more intense shades, brighter, darker colors, then I say get 1 or 2 of the Vault palettes. Personally, I think getting the whole vault for $49 is kind of a lot, but if you don't have a lot of eyeshadow, then it's probably a much better investment. But if you already have a lot of eyeshadow, you probably don't need to buy 4 palettes all at once, but that's just my opinion. The other colors didn't really scream to me. I don't really love purple eyeshadow on myself, and then the Dark Magic one is very dark, and I'm just not that talented in eyeshadow. I don't like wearing very dark colors. So these are definitely the ones that spoke to me the most. So yeah, overall, I do really like these. I'm glad that I got them. I think it's awesome that you can use the drugstore coupon at Ulta as well. So if you have the availability to get these at Ulta, I would do that over buying them from the Morphe website. So yeah, let me know, did you get these palettes? What do you think? And thanks for watching.